Hey, Chef, how's it going?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. I have a question.
Come on.
Are we actually cooking any of this stuff today?
We're not. I'm going to talk about that. We're not going to cook, at least live here together. We're not going to.
Oh, okay.
That's not the
I was
plan.
nervous.
Yeah, don't be nervous. Nervous about that. We're going to talk about shucking them and debearding them and cleaning them and getting ready to cook. And then as soon as we get off, I'm going to post 4 recipes. Just as a suggestion, at least one thing you can do with. Now, I know not everybody picked up all 4 because I know last night, for example, I didn't know where the clams were, so I helped April. She's not on yet. I helped April get her stuff, but I didn't know where the clams were, so she didn't get clams. I know that.
Okay.
But we'll talk about cooking.
Okay. So one other question. As long as I keep it on ice in the refrigerator, will it possibly last until tomorrow?
You'll be fine till tomorrow.
Okay. Because I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to cook anything today.
It would be best to use tomorrow by Friday at the latest. And if you
Okay.
if you could keep ice on them, around them, and in the refrigerator, they'll definitely keep till Friday. But I'm going to show you something for like the mussels. Mussels are a little bit like crawfish, and I'm going to show you something here in a bit that you want to do. You want to purge them, and so there's a possibility that none of the mussels will make it till Friday. But your oysters and your clams and scallops, whatever of those you picked up, those should be just fine till Friday.
Okay. Okay.
Let me test this other camera here real quick just to make sure that it's the right one. Yeah, good. There we go. That over just a little bit. Scoot on that over. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Good. All right. Ariel's just joined us. We'll wait about another minute. Tick tock, tick tock. There goes the water. Okay. There's April. Hello. So listen. Tell me what you want. Do you want me to just show? Of course, this will be this is recorded, and I have not previewed the YouTube or whatever. I've not previewed the videos that are loaded in this week, so I'm just going to show you what I know. I'm going to show you my way. Maybe you're going to get a couple of different methods. Do you want me to just demo, or do y'all want to play along? Pick your poison. Just demo and teach?
Just demo for me.
Okay.
I'm good with just demoing also. I just got home from the grocery store.
Okay. All right. So Juanita asked earlier. I'll go. Okay, good. Thank you, Brenda. Demo was good. So that's what I'll do. Juanita asked earlier about were we going to cook tonight? Should we cook all this stuff tonight? And let me, just for the good of all of the peanut gallery, This product came in yesterday. It's live. A couple of things may have died between you picking them up at the culinary school and getting them home. Especially if you put your mussels in the Ziploc bag and sealed the Ziploc bag. We'll talk about mussels here in just a minute. But after you do what I'm about to do, if you keep this stuff on or around ice and in your refrigerator, you should still be okay with this product until about Friday. If you have not been to the culinary school to pick up this product yet, you better get it tomorrow. And it would be best to get by about middle of the day tomorrow. Otherwise, other places, other parts of the culinary school are going to make sure that whatever product is left gets used. It's not wasted. Anytime we get fresh seafood, we get stuff flown in. It's expensive, and we want to make sure that every little bit is used. You would want to do the same thing. So I'm going to move my camera, and we'll talk about a few different things. I only want for this lab the two. You can upload multiple pictures if you want. You can separate out each thing that you picked up. April, you and I looked in the meat and seafood cooler, and we got everything but the clams. I missed the clams, so you didn't get the clams. But the same method for shucking oysters is the exact same method that you would use to crack open the clams as well. So from a technique or method standpoint, you're going to be okay. You're muted. I can see you talking.
I have food 3 tomorrow, so I can get them then.
That's even better. Okay. I'd like you to snap one picture. Maybe I'll show you this. Well, I'll show you in a second. If you just snap one picture, maybe if you have all four, you should have some mussels, some scallops, some oysters, and some clams. Probably 4 or 5 of each. If you snap a picture of those in individual little mise bowls or all sitting together on one plate, that can be your before. And then I'm going to crack each one of these open. I'm going to show you what you need to do. And if you present it on a plate already opened, you don't have to cook these. You don't have to season or garnish or anything like that for this lab. Now, if you want to further use these, as soon as we're done, we have prepared, sitting in a folder, 4 recipes. I have one recipe for oysters. The oyster recipe comes, it's kind of New Orleans flair. Chef McAfee kind of helped me with that. Chef McAfee worked with Paul Prudhomme, if that's a name everybody's familiar with in this business. And anyway, these are some New Orleans grilled oysters. That's that recipe. Also threw in some Cajun blackened scallops, white wine and garlic steamed mussels, and some kind of baked clam. I don't remember the clams, but anyway, you don't have to do exactly those recipes, but that'll give you an idea. You're welcome to do whatever it is you want to do. So let's talk about these. Obviously, safety and sanitation. Sanitation, your hands, your cutting boards, And we're going to talk about a little bit of safety here as we go also. So, why in the world would Chef have a daggum screwdriver sitting out here in the middle of all this stuff? You did not get with your student knife kit, you did not get an oyster knife. We don't loan for the online class, we don't loan you the oyster knives that we have at the school. But all an oyster knife is, okay, there's a blade, there's a point, the shape of it is just like your paring knife, it's just much, much smaller. So what we're going to do, you can do with your paring knife if you want to. If you're afraid, I personally would be, that I might chip my knife, because the point and the blade of your knife is much, much finer than the blade of your blade of an oyster knife. This is a little heavier, heavy duty. So a common substitute for shucking oysters and opening clams is a regular screwdriver. So if you have a clean, run this through the dishwasher if you need to. If you have a nice clean screwdriver, you can do all of this stuff just with a screwdriver if you'd like. I'm going to use the oyster knife, and there. Maybe I'll do one or two with the screwdriver and just show you. If you're going to use a screwdriver, have your paring knife. You'll use both. If you have an oyster knife, then you'll use the oyster knife and you'll just use the blade for cutting loose the abductor muscles of both the clams and the oysters. That's the part of the muscle that holds it to the shell. These things, some of you, April, for example, working in a school environment, you may be familiar with something, these mesh gloves. It's really, this is what they're for. This is a safety. These are gloves for shucking. They'll protect your hand, and I'll show you why in a minute. I still don't use these gloves for that purpose. I have them for show and tell, and I've shown them and I've told, and they're going to go away. So I do old school, just with bar towel. Okay, that's what we're going to use, just the bar towel. We'll get to that in a second. So bing, bong, bang. The easiest of all of these we're going to deal with is the scallops. Okay. You may notice when you when you examine your scallops, okay, I'm going to keep my cutting board clean. So I'm going to put these out on a plate. Okay. All of these scallops, if you can tell, are kind of almost have a pink tint to them. You may have a few scallops that look really white compared to the others. Have any of y'all noticed that? All of your oysters kind of off-white, or do you have any oysters that are, I keep saying oysters. Do you have scallops that are really, really white? Have you noticed?
Yes.
They're different colors, like 2 different colors?
Yeah.
Okay. The white ones are male, and the kind of pinky looking ones, or the little off-white, are female. Female scallops are a little more on the sweeter side. If you've never had scallops before, it's worth trying. They're not sweet like candy sweet. It's seafood sweet. The white ones are male and they're a little more neutral. I don't want to say bland, but they're a little more neutral. You're going to take each one at a time and go all the way around on the outside. I've been playing with one. So when I examine all the way around on some of these, there's going to be like this separate little growth. Okay. It's called the muscle. We want to remove that. Even though it appears to be exactly the same meat, and it appears, you know, it's the same color, it's same. This is a little bit bitter compared to the rest of the scallop. So we want to make that go away. And it's tedious, but that's how we clean scallops. Okay. We want to go all the way around and take that muscle off. That's it. The scallops are ready to go. Questions?
So all of them may not have that muscle attached to it.
Correct. Out of these 5, had 3. 2 of
Okay.
them had muscles. There's a possibility if you got 4 or 5 or 6, maybe none of yours have that muscle on it. Maybe all of them do. Sometimes these fall off as these are taken out of the shell. This helps. This is attached to this meat. This also attaches this meat to the shell.
Okay.
And that's what we want to get rid of. As it cooks, the texture is off just a little bit as well compared to this. This should be, how do I say, soft but firm? It should be cheap but expensive. It should be, so this should not be rubbery. This will not be as firm as shrimp or lobster, but it shouldn't be like Jell-O either. Okay, this ought to be pretty close to the texture of a rare or rare to medium rare fillet. But this is going to be a whole lot sweeter than beef. There you go. The most classical, every day, the most traditional way of cooking these is a little butter or a little olive oil, salt, pepper, and sear. You get nice Maillard reaction, a little crusting on either side, and that's it. I'm giving you a recipe that kind of kicks that up a little bit, adds some flavor. I'm on a Cajun kick right now, I guess, so it's kind of blackened, Cajun-y, but there you go. Any other questions about scallops? I'm gonna make these.
No, sir.
Good, all right. Dish of water, cool water, cold water. I don't know. I've got probably 3 cups of water, maybe a tablespoon and a half of salt. And in goes the mussels. Now, you can see already right away, I've got one floating. Okay. For mussels, for crawfish, you might do the same process. We call this a purge. and you're going to buy a big 25-pound bag of crawfish. You're going to buy a 10-pound bag or a 5-pound bag of mussels. This will be in a mesh bag, like the bags in the meat cooler when you went to the school to pick your mussels up. You want that mesh so that these can continue to breathe. They're dying slowly. They want to be in water, but these that sink, they're still alive. And you only want to eat the ones, you only want to cook the ones that are alive. If they're already dead, you don't know how long they've been dead. And seafood, especially if it's whole animal and you get it dead. We talked a little bit about this last week. You know, my sole, for example, cloudy eyes, don't know, kind of an off smell. Well, these that are all sunk down at the bottom, well, actually, it's not floating, and they've closed back up. So you may pick yours up, and when you look at them, they may have tried to open up some. If they're open, do two things. One, give it a little knock, and sometimes, just like a muscle reflex, they'll close. But drop them in the water, and they're gonna just get all comfortable, and they'll close back up. Okay, you really need to give this about 15 or 20 minutes in the salted water. But anyway, here you go. You might be able to see, I don't know if you can see, my water has, you can see some particles. I'm looking in the camera here. Yeah, you can see some particles of dirt down at the bottom. Another thing that this does, aside from purge, separate the dead from the live mussels, this is going to get rid of some of the dirt, the grime. You don't want that in your broth. You don't want that in your sauce that you might cook these in. Okay. The only other thing we're going to do to clean these, you'll examine each one, and you won't see this on every single mussel. So here's a mussel. Back here's the hinge. I kind of follow the mussel all the way around. Ready to steam. Okay. Here's the hinge, and I follow this mussel all the way around, and it has almost like a frayed rope. Okay, that's called the beard. And we want to de-beard mussels. Okay, so your paring knife works just fine. And I'm going to take the beard right up against the knife, and I'm going to put my thumb against it, apply pressure almost like a pinch, and I'm going to twist my knife that pulls that beard out. Did you hear that pop?
Yes.
I'll put this back in the water, and this goes in the trash in my waste. I have one other.
So, Chef,
Yes.
when you pull the beard off, does it kill him?
No.
Oh, okay.
It might make it a little unhappy. And you don't always get all of it at one time. There we go. The beard is not a beard. It's not hair. When this is in the ocean, when this is in the water, These are like little hair-like, almost tentacles. And this is what keeps it attached to the rock surface or whatever this is living on. Try to separate this out so we can see and we can get a little bit closer. So here's like one strand, and these strands have, I mean, it almost looks like you've got little pieces of gum in your hair. Those little round, those dirt looking pieces, those are, when this is in the water, it's almost like little suction cups. And this is what adheres the muscle to the surface that it's living on. Okay, I wanted to get rid of that over here. That's debearding muscles. Now these are ready to steam. Okay, that's all you have to do to these. Now, when you cook these for your lab assignment, you just need to put these on a plate. These are ready to go. Okay, they're ready to cook. Don't feel like you have to cook everything and then use the cooked product. I'm going to set those there. You don't have to use cooked product for your lab assignment. You can cook those later. You're just going to wash your hands a lot. That's all. And that's a good thing. Okay. All right, let's talk about these oysters. Okay. My oyster knife. An oyster. Now, there are a couple of different approaches. Okay. If I can find it again, I'll load this YouTube video I saw some time ago. Again, if I could find it, there is a way to shuck oysters, air quotes, shuck oysters without using any kind of knife, and you do it in the oven. And so you want to lay these flat, and so using some crinkled aluminum foil on a sheet pan, preheat an oven to 350. And just take your oysters. So your oysters have a flat side and have kind of a bowl side. Flat side up always. Okay, when we're doing this, when we're shucking them by hand, or if you want to put these in the oven, so you want them to sit upright. You don't want them to lean. So using a little foil, it takes about 3 minutes. 50-degree oven. You're not cooking these really, but you do start cooking them, and it's more steam that develops. They will pop open on their own. It's because of the heat, and in 2 or 3 minutes, you haven't killed them all the way. As they pop open, you take that sheet pan out of the oven, and just your fingers, you're able to pop. Right back here is the hinge, and there's some tendon-like tissue that holds the top side and the bowl side, holds them together, and you're able to just pop that off. Then crank your oven up to a broil, and very simple breadcrumbs, butter, season those breadcrumbs maybe with a little parsley, a lot of garlic. And put that on top of your oysters, broil it for about 2 or 3 minutes. And that's something pretty close to an oysters Rockefeller. if that's something that you might want to do. Okay. To do this the standard seafood way with an oyster knife, again, you want to see where that hinge is. Okay. It's going to be a little bit of a workout. We have to, well, we're glad you're here, San. Thank you. You can use those gloves, those special gloves, or I like the towel. I like to fold over the towel, and I'm going to apply pressure with the palm of my hand. Now, this can cause serious injury. This oyster knife, with what I'm about to do, it really is no different than using a paring knife. And you really can stab yourself and cause some serious injury into the palm of your hand if you're not very careful. And so you don't want the knife to be directed right into your hand. You want the knife to be angled down. So if you do slip, if you break through the shell, if that shell is more fragile than you think it's going to be, and you slip right through, if you're angled down, you're going to slip right through the muscle, right through the oyster and into your towel or into the cutting board, not into your hand. That's very important. I have this wrap my fingers around almost like I'm going to tourné. I know that's a scary word for everybody. Shouldn't be, not by now, but I'm holding the handle of this knife like I'm going to tourné, and I put my thumb right on the blade, I'll call it a blade, of this oyster knife. And I apply some pretty good pressure. That helps you maintain some control. Okay. You find the hinge. I'll get it right up here. You see, you can kind of poke in a little bit. Sometimes you can feel it's hard, but there's a soft portion to it. That's exactly where you want the knife to go. And you're going to break it open. You're breaking this, but you want to do it in a way that doesn't put a lot of shells or shell bits and pieces. So in you go, applying a little pressure. There, do you hear that pop? That's what you want. Okay. Now I can pick this up, and I'm going to use the blade side, and I'm going to continue to kind of crack it open a little gently.
On the video, the videos, I watched those today, and they said not to go on the hinge part, but to go to the outer side, the outside of it, like directly on the other end from where you started.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is what I was doing with the blade. First of all, okay, we want to get that all scraped away. We're going to throw the top part away. There's no use for that. Okay. Dump some of that water, and you're basically scraping away from the shell. And that's the abductor muscle. There you go. Now, this that I have in my hand is a piece of shell. Okay. So, April, what you're saying, and so we're already telling on myself. I did not see the videos that the previous chef that designed this class had picked those videos. Those videos said to go through this way.
Yes. Like
Yeah,
to
don't.
stick your blade in and then just to turn your shucker up and it will like pop it. And then when you pull it up, you'll just twist it off, the top shell off. After
So,
you scrape it, the top of it.
can I just go ahead and just say up front, please don't do that. That's a terrible idea.
Okay.
The reason it's a terrible idea, the shell back where the hinge is, this is very thick.
Yes.
This is very thick. And you're not going to pop, you're not going to break shell here. The shell here, the shell here, there's another little flake. There's another piece of shell. And I haven't hardly done anything here. See where that goes?
Yes.
I haven't done anything there. Okay. The amount of pressure you're going to need to use to pop the hinge, you're going to break a lot of shell. Okay. You break a lot of shell, especially on the bowl side. This is how you're going to serve it. In the bowl, in the bottom shell, whether it's baked, whether it's grilled. The recipe I gave you for the oysters is a New Orleans, and they're grilled. So this is seasoned a little bit, and then this bottom shell with the oysters go right on your char grill. It adds a little smokiness. You put some Frank's or some Louisiana hot sauce or something like that on it, but your guests are going to use this front part of the shell and they turn it up into their mouth and goes. If this is broken, I can feel this with my finger, this little bit that I broke off. That's going to cut somebody's lip.
Yeah.
Okay. You have much less of a chance doing that if you go through the hinge. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is one of those things. Y'all have heard me say this before because every last one of you have had me for food 1 and food 2, everything. I have my way, and the YouTube person has his or her way, and Chef McAfee has his way, and Chef Thompson has his way, and the way that each one of us do this is the way we were taught, or the way we learned, or the way we practiced in the past. I was taught go through the hinge, and that's the reason why. And here's perfect evidence kind of that. Let's see what happens though.
Now, are those oysters still alive or are they dead?
They're still alive. There's not a way really to purge these like we would with the mussels to see. Look, see how closed and tight this dude is?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to stick my knife in the first place. And so I'm not going to debate that that's a good or a bad method. It's not a method that I'm familiar with, and not a method that I would trust, because I don't want to break this part of the shell. There. And sometimes you have to find.
So while you're doing it, what is the best way to eat these? He's not listening.
The best way to eat these, there we go. The best way to eat these is give these to the pig so that the pig can give you bacon. I think. I'm not a fan myself. And for me, it's not flavor. For me, it is very, very much a textural issue. Okay.
So they
So
say like if you fry them, it's supposed to make them not so gooey or whatever it is.
even fried, you know, I'm not a fan of squid. I'm not a fan of fried calamari because it's just still chewy.
Mm.
And that's just the texture that I'm not really too interested in. That's a big one. That is one big slimy, if you ask me. See this round little dot right here where the tip of my knife is? That's the
Yes.
abductor muscle. That's what keeps these two shell halves together. And so just a little scrape gets that muscle off the shell. Now, there are people that swear by this: a little horseradish and a little hot sauce, and down it goes. This is generally not a chew up kind of thing. You're not going to put it in your mouth and chew, chew, chew. Some people do, I guess. This is kind of a, and just suck it down. Think of it kind of like, yes, what Brenda said, a heart. Just suck this down. Think of it like you're trying to get down a cube of Jello without chewing it up. Down it goes. Some of these, that's pretty big to just all go down in one bite. Some people chew them up. I don't know. I'm not a fan of them either way. Y'all just experiment and try, I guess, different things. You've got 4 or 5 to play with.
I like them with a little bit of salt and some lemon juice and then swallow.
Very good. I think it's a little more tolerable with some hot sauce. And I like Frank's. I would do, I don't choose them anyway, regardless. Do a little white, and I'm going to wash my hands. And very last thing, let's do the same thing with clams. And really, cracking open a clam is the same thing. Except I've already done this. The first thing you want to do to the clams is wash them really well. Okay? The clams that you picked up, clams live right in the sand. They live in the dirt, right where the surf is washing up. So they're wet, they're damp all the time. And oh yeah, the screwdriver. Okay, let me show you the screwdriver method with a clam. Okay, so, and I'm going to use, we'll do the scrape to remove that abductor muscle, whatever holds the clam to the shell. We'll use the paring knife for that. You don't want to go scraping with your screwdriver. Okay, so you can see the hinge. There you can see the hinge, and you can follow the clam shell all the way around. If the clam is open even just a little bit, get rid of it. Your clams should be tight and completely closed. Okay. I'm going to hold it in the towel, and it's all going to be exactly the same thing that I did with the oyster. Okay. Now I'm just using the screwdriver. Thank you, Brenda, for reminding me of that. Okay. Just forward of that hinge, using the corner of my screwdriver, you can find a little indentation, and this is going to be a lot. Clams are feisty. There we go. Now the hinge is broken. And now I can grab my paring knife, and I'm going to take one side using the tip I'm basically scraping it back and forth all around the top shell. Until I get the whole thing opened up. Oh, I missed part of it. I'll take that out. Now, because of the pressure that I applied, I broke one of the shells. That's okay. I'm going to scrape out all of the clam, and I'm going to put it in this other shell. That's not broke. And I'll throw the rest away. All right. What do you think? We'll move this out of the way. I'll wash it one more time.
Like it could be easy enough.
This is not, it's not incredibly difficult. It is, the clam is going to be the hardest. It's the tightest muscle. And as long as it's alive, it is holding on for dear life. The oyster is going to be considerably easier to break that hinge and crack into than the clam will be. Debearding the muscle, there's nothing to it. And the oyster, the scallop, I keep calling scallops oysters. Okay. If you did something kind of like this, you know, I only did one clam. We took the muscle off all of the scallops. We only had two mussels to debeard here. I only cracked open two oysters. But if you just did one plate kind of like this for your after, then that's it. You're good. That's all you need to do. Now, if you want to do this today, if you want to do that, you want to wait until tomorrow. Again, if you put all of the stuff that you have, those things that you picked up, keep it in or around ice or an ice bath, ice water, and in your refrigerator. Keep it just a little bit colder than your refrigerator, but you don't freeze them. Then you should be just fine till about Friday. Cook them tomorrow if you can. The freshest would be best. And again, as soon as we say goodbye, as soon as we're done here, I've already got 4 recipes, 1 recipe for each. just to give you an idea, I'm not asking you to cook these, and I'm certainly not asking you to produce the recipes I'm going to give you, because we didn't give you any product whatsoever other than scallops, mussels, oysters, clams. Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm late. You probably answered this. Do we have to have that special knife to open these?
No, that's why, and Brenda reminded me, that's why I cracked open the clam with a screwdriver.
Okay.
So just make sure if you're going to do that, you're not using a screwdriver that you just the same one that you're bypassing your starter every single morning on your car. Use something that's gone through the dishwasher, or you ran with some soap and water in the sink and you clean this up really, really well.
Okay.
Not your automotive screwdriver. Don't go run to Walmart and buy you a screwdriver just so that you can do this. But if you do, use a fairly heavy regular screwdriver.
Flathead.
Not a Phillips head, that's got a point tip.
It's a flathead.
Flathead. That's a regular screwdriver, flathead screwdriver. Okay. And this is a little bit heavy duty. Okay. Crack open at the hinge and then use your paring knife to scrape the shell on one side to release that abductor muscle. It's exactly the same for a clam and for oyster. Okay. The small little oyster knife is, because of the size of it, it's thicker, it's denser than your paring knife. It has a sharp blade. It has a sharp edge, but that blade is not as fine as your paring knife. So,
Okay.
not recommend doing the hinge, getting into the oyster or getting into the clam with your paring knife. Otherwise, you'll chip your knife. That I use a screwdriver and release the muscle with your paring knife.
Okay, thank you. Now, Chef, I picked mine up Monday, but I didn't know to put it on ice. I just put it in my refrigerator down in my garage, and it's at 35 degrees, I think.
You're going to be okay. You're probably okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the clams, Brenda, the clams are the same clams that if you want to fry these after, go ahead, knock yourself out. At least on your plate, give me at least 2 or 3 of everything. Give me at least 2 mussels. Give me at least 2 scallops, at least 2 clams, at least 2 oysters. If you did not pick up all of that, give me a before picture of what you have and this after picture of what you have.
Okay, because I didn't get all of that when I picked up on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on Monday, some of this product didn't come until the middle of the day yesterday.
Okay.
And so even the morning meat and seafood class did not have.
I don't think I got oysters. I think I just got clams, mustard, and scallops.
That might have been it. That might have been oysters.
That's all.
But the
I
technique,
know I got 2 and scallop.
you only got 2 scallops?
I know I got scallops and I got clams and mussels, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I got oysters.
Do what you do what you have, whatever you have. Okay. But like the plate I showed you, give me one picture of whatever you're going to break down, whatever you're going to prep, whatever you will mise for your seafood dinner. Give me the before and then give me the after. and give me more than just one of each. That way you get at least a little bit of practice.
Okay.
Should have received 4 or 5 of each of whatever it is that you got. And to be consistent with the in-person classes, you would be breaking down, you would be fabricating 5 mussels, 5 oysters, 5 clams. It's just pretty good practice. But don't feel like because you're not cooking these for this lab, you don't need to do some fancy, you don't need to garnish, you don't need to decorate with some cut up lemon or something like that. If you want to do that, amen, perfectly fine. But that's not what's required. If you do cook them, kind of share with me what you do. I'd like to know. And Terrence asked a really good question here as well. So a little bit of review. If go back on the beginning of this video, watch this again if you need to. If you have a dish of water, and I went about maybe about 3 cups of cold water, cool water, just cold tap water, and about 1.5 tablespoons of salt. And your Ziploc bag of mussels, just dump the whole bag into that dish of salted water. And really leave them for about 15 minutes. I left them for about 2. You leave them for about 15 minutes. You're going to draw out a lot more of the sand and dirt that you don't want to eat anyway. But your dead mussels are going to float to the top. And those you're going to get rid of, even if they have beards. You don't need to de-beard them. You're just going to go ahead and throw those away. That's called a purge. We do the same thing with crawfish. The whole big 10, 20-pound bag of crawfish, purge them in salted water and get rid of the dead ones. So Terrence, did that answer your question? The indication that the mussels are no good, they're the floaty ones. They're open and they're not going to close. They're floating, discard. Good mussels are going to stay closed and they're going to stay in the bottom of that dish of salted water.
What if they all float?
Then don't cook mussels. Now, saying your mussels right now could be open a little bit. They're kind of gasping for air. They're running out of air. When they hit the water, if they're alive and they're happy, when they hit the water, they'll close back up.
Okay.
Purge. They'll close back up really nice. If they stay open and they float, bye-bye.
Okay. But I can still show where I can clean them and all that though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Anything else from the peanut gallery?
No, chef.
Good luck with bivalve seafood this week. If you have any problems or questions, let me know. We'll sign off and I'll get those 4 recipes uploaded and I'll get this video into Blackboard just as quickly as I can. So
Okay.
before the night's over.
Okay. Thanks, Chef.
Thank you. Everybody, nighty night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.